This is Gateway City Sports.
It's a trap!
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
This is the Team of Rivals podcast.
Everything you want to hear from the big sports to the big screen.
He's all by himself, fires into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! No!
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
He doesn't like you. I don't like you either.
Time winding down, Michael for three. Yes! She is gone!
I can't believe what I just saw!
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
You believe in miracles?
Yes! You may fire when ready.
What?
Welcome, Cubs and Cardinals fans, to the Team of Rivals podcast, proud members of the Gateway City Sports Network, where you can find great podcast and blog content. You can follow us on social media at Team of Rivals Pod, or you can find us online at teamofrivalspodcast.com. Yes, that's right. We've standardized and consolidated all the social media. It's all just Team of Rivals Pod.
Well
For those
done.
of you who prefer to watch the show.
Well done, by the way.
You're welcome. We also post to YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble, so hit the like and subscribe buttons and be sure the notifications are on so that you know anytime we post new content. Gentlemen, there are so many things that we can talk about. The Cubs and Cardinals played a 5-game set last week. I was there for one of the games, and it was painful. Joe Maddon got fired out in L.A. Christopher Morel is pissing off Cardinals fans left and right, and I know that Elliott is here for it. But look, there's only one thing that we're here to talk about tonight. Ron, he's a Hall of Famer. He won you World Series. But what the hell is Tony La Russa doing walking Trey Turner with a 1-2 count and 2 outs?
It's him burning that midnight oil, trying to figure out how he's going to beat that team. Like
he got way too fucking cute, is what he did.
And Max Muncy made him pay for it.
That is something. Yeah.
Well, that's the whole thing, right? Like none of us would be talking about this if Max Muncy hadn't come through.
You're right.
The flip the script, right? If it had worked, like what a genius, you know.
Well, I don't know, because I think that the media has pretty much had it with Tony La Russa, and they just want to see him go because he's an old white dude. And so even if it had worked out for him, they would have been like, it still would have been, okay, he got lucky this time, but what the hell was he thinking?
Well, of course, right? It's all whenever you make a move to the bullpen or whatever it is, whatever inning, whatever situation, it's all a coin flip. Like you play the averages, you play the scouting reports, and you think you know, but it doesn't matter, man. At the end of the day, Pete, you've heard me say this for years. It's all human beings. They can change their approach. They can see something differently one night, and your game plan just goes out the window, which is why I understand
the protection. We're going to an ad read already.
No, not yet. Not going there yet. But which is why, like, I understand the value of advanced analytics, but these are still people. Like, you cannot classify people as doing one thing all the time, and they will never deviate. Like, they can all deviate. They can all do something different. Like, Matt Carpenter can decide to hit home runs again for the New York Yankees, and not the Cardinals.
It helps when the porch is 315 feet away.
Of course, shot away.
Yeah, fair enough.
All those freaking pop-ups that he hit to the warning track are all going over the wall now.
Right.
But I can understand on a 3-0 count, just say screw it, don't throw anything down the middle because he's probably going to swing at that. But you're at 1-2 and you've got 3 pitches to not even have to throw in the zone to get him to chase something. Come on, man. This has got to be the Alzheimer's setting in. Did he forget what the count was?
I did not want to.
Did he think it was 3-0 and not 1-2?
No, man. No, please stop. I didn't want to take us down a Matt Carpenter rabbit hole this early on. I was just using it to illustrate an example that humans can always make a different decision, and so that's why advanced analytics, okay, over the long haul, have value. Don't deny that, Pete. You don't either.
I don't have value.
Very little left.
Maybe true.
First time we've agreed in like 6 years.
No, we were both happy that Albert Pujols signed with the Cardinals.
You're right. You know, that brought a smile to my face, Pete. As much of the smile as I had since he was rejoining, like to hear you kind of like, that's kind of cool. Warmed my heart. Right.
Well, it's got to feel good for you guys.
I know, because I've hated him for like years. Pete, not Albert. Anyway.
I felt like he was dying out in LA. It's where baseball players go to die.
Apparently so. Let's jump in. Hey, you know what? Let's jump into that. That's a beautiful segue.
That Elliott. Is great.
Joe Maddon did not have a winning record in his time in the Angels. Does he get another job?
I got to go back a little bit and say that like he is way better, I feel, with inexperience, up and coming, like teams that are trying to find their way. And he constantly dealt with that year over year in Tampa, right? Like they didn't have the resources. Like they had to be smart, frugal, and he thrived in that atmosphere. And he did initially with the Cubs, Pete, because it was kind of the same situation where a bunch of young people, unproven, trying to win something, and that's the kind of environment he thrives in. And when you put him, like, look at his later years with the Cubs. Like, they had done it, and he sucked, right? Sucked cultivating that culture post-victory. With L.A., you look at, you got established veterans like Mike Trout, you got the whole fucking shit show and Shohei Ohtani. And I'm unfair in saying that, right? But still, it is a, ticket draw anywhere outside of Anaheim that you're going to see Shohei DH or pitch. Yeah. He doesn't thrive in those situations. Like he's got to exist in a very awkward, up and coming rebuild. Like we got to make something magic happen with very little. Like that's Joe Maddon's atmosphere. When it's established, he doesn't, or when it's in flux or directionless, like he can't do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, what is the direction out in Anaheim? I mean, you've got the best player in baseball on the planet. You've got this two-way player,
and if you believe social media and MLB, they believe the two best players on the planet because they always have said that. But
no, they do.
No, the best because Trout now sucks according to social media because he's slumping. He's only hitting like what 260.
Oh my God, how awful
is that? Not Twitter, just encapsulated. Like that's Twitter.
Although apparently it's 20% bots at least, so we're gonna find that out soon.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, Elon Musk will get to the bottom of this.
Hey, apparently they caved. It was announced late today that they're turning over their streams to him to analyze. We're going to find out that thing is nothing but fake accounts.
I have no doubt that
an angry baseball fan.
20% of my follows are probably not legit.
Hey, but the bots at least found you and followed you.
Mm-hmm. Right. I appreciate.
Who says they're not sentient?
And
maybe they just love your dry sense of humor.
Pete,
Ron makes a good copper top. That's what it is.
Yeah, there you
go.
Pete, I know you had an agenda to run through. I don't want to derail. So
no, we're fine. I think that you make a good point, Ron, about Joe Maddon, why he fails later in his process, as the players become veterans and everything. That's why it hasn't worked out in Los Angeles. The other thing I kind of wonder, and this, and we had talked about it in the years past, and it had started to grate on me towards the end of his time there. Joe Maddon's a smart guy. And there's nothing wrong with being a smart guy coming from,
he's a smart guy with a certain set of, he appears to be a smart guy with a certain cast around him.
Well, No. Here's the problem. No, I don't doubt that he's a smart guy. I mean, if you listen to him, he can talk about just about anything. He's very intelligent. He's very learned. Problem is that he knows it, and he really loves being the smartest guy in the room. And so he's always looking.
Reminds me of somebody I know.
He wants to prove how smart he is by doing stuff.
Elliott, it reminds me. Pete's description of Joe Maddon, it reminds me of somebody I know. I can't put my finger on it. Likes to be the smartest guy in the room.
No, but the difference is that Joe Maddon loves to lord it over you, right? He likes to prove that he's smarter than you, and I think that ultimately is what gets him in trouble, because when you're a rookie and this dovetails with what you said, Ron. When you're a rookie or you're a young player and you don't know what you don't know, and somebody like Joe Maddon comes into the clubhouse and he's telling you how to succeed and he's doing all these moves that nobody can believe he's doing and they work, like, oh my God, this is a genius. I would do whatever this guy says. But then when you're established in your career and you're a veteran, you don't need this old dude telling you what is and is not going to work.
Yeah.
Because Mike Trout doesn't need Joe Maddon in his ear telling him what he can do in order to be a better baseball player.
Right.
Hey, Mr. Multi-time MVP, you need to change your game.
Exactly.
Change your philosophy.
I think that's ultimately what backfires on him. He gets to be too much.
Yeah, and I agree. And we saw it play out in Chicago, right? Like he arrived at the perfect time. And to their credit, they brought in the right guy at the right time to do what he needed to do with that young crowd. But once the young crowd reached the plateau, of what that team could do, like after that, that all that magic and wearing onesies and shit to the airport and bringing in circuses or circus monkeys or balloon animals or whatever, it didn't work after that. Like, it only goes so far. And
remember, towards the end, he cut out all those gimmicks.
No, I don't remember that. I like to think they stuck right up to when he was let go. He had a balloon animal. Somebody was making him a giraffe, and he was let go, and he's like, fuck.
Make me a bicycle clown.
That's what I would say. That's my vision.
Notice, we haven't heard any of him doing any of that stuff.
He grew up a Cardinals fan because that was his radio access, right? When he was growing up. Like, he was a St. Louis fan. Which doesn't bode well for. I'm not trying to make any kind of point or argument. I'm just saying,
he definitely doesn't coach in the Cardinal way. That's for sure.
No, he doesn't believe in that shit. Whoever wrote that book, screw them.
That's right. They're not as smart as me. I'm going to prove them wrong.
That's right.
Yep.
Anyway.
Anything more that we want to say about Joe Maddon other than, good luck finding another job? I don't think it's going to happen again.
No,
I think he's done.
I agree with you. Honestly, I think he could probably thrive at a AAA team.
Well, I'd say devil's advocate.
And I know that would be a tough swallow for somebody like Joe Maddon to do, but I think he would be perfect.
I think he's got one more play, Elliott.
For a AAA affiliate.
I don't disagree with your notion there. I really don't. But I think he's got one more play with some weird franchise who's trying to make shit happen that can't. But
who's willing to roll the dice?
Elliott, you might be right. I mean, Seattle's tried to throw money out there every so often, and
Larry DePoto he's going to go after.
Well, but you also have
got to be a young team.
Yeah,
it's got to be a young team.
Absolutely right, Pete. Like, he'll try to hey, look what I can build.
Where actually I think that he could finish because inevitably what's going to happen is his next gig, he's only going to last a couple of years. He's either going to experience success and then he's going to go out on a high, or it's going to flame out. What he ought to do if he wants to work until he decides to call it a career, he should find a bench coach job. He should go back to what he was doing previously. He should be a bench coach. He'd be an amazing bench coach especially for a relatively young manager.
Yeah.
Because he can be the guy who takes the pressure off, and you get a guy like some of these hard asses. And he'd be the perfect guy to take the edge off for him.
What I think is ruled out is smart organizations like Tampa Bay, who might experience some urge for nostalgia to bring somebody back, bring a name back to pay attention to their team. I could see that possibly being something that somebody thinks of, but I see it being squashed really quick.
It's not. Yeah, I don't see Tampa. They're too smart of an organization to do that.
And they are, which is a watch out for all teams dealing with Tampa. Don't.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, really, ultimately, Ron, aren't there two teams that you have to watch out for? Don't make a deal with the Tampa Bay Rays because you're getting screwed.
Right.
And don't release any of your players if the Padres are near the top of the Rule 5 list.
That's exactly right.
Because they're going west.
But do hit up the Rockies.
Yes,
exactly.
Regardless of who's there, it always seems to work out better.
They just give players.
Oh,
Actually, they'll pay you to take their best players.
Speaking of that, and it kind of ties into Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Credit where due, man. That play that Arenado made
it was like
on that bunt was one of the best sacrifice killers that I've seen this side of Anthony.
And it really is. Pete, I don't make this reference lightly, but sometimes the world works slower for people.
Yeah.
And you can grab something and make a decision really quick and get your orientation where most human beings cannot do that. And he was able to do. I saw that same play last night, and I'm like, holy shit! Like, how does the mind process all of this and execute it so perfectly? And
think about how unique those circumstances have to be, right? Because if that happens at Wrigley, if that happens at Busch, he doesn't make that play because the ball doesn't bounce. It's only because it's at Tropicana, and on that bunt, it gets that artificial turf bounce so that he can grab it in the air and just turn and throw. Yeah. If he has to bend down and pick it up off the ground, his only play is first base.
Yeah, I totally agree. This is
that's on the level of Derek Jeter intercepting the relay and tossing it to home plate.
Back and somebody deciding not to slide.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's on that level.
No, I agree. It was that's not even on this. Held Scott Rowland to a pretty high standard. It's kind of shit like that exceeds it. Like, he wouldn't have made that play.
Nope. Nope. He would have made the solid play. He would have made the pickup and he would have thrown to first.
Exactly. Right.
He would have made the right play. Arenado is.
I missed that.
I like what we say
the other night.
Roland would have made the right play, but Arenado decided to cut off the whole thing. Yeah. But you know what? Ultimately, it didn't matter. Segue. Cardinals got swept by the Tampa Bay Rays. And I know that everybody's excited that Tyler O'Neill showed back up. He's healed.
What in the...
Right? You got to watch the replay.
What in the...
Yeah, it happened so fast you can't tell what happened.
Processing the play?
Yes, Elliott's processing the play.
Looks even better with his mustache.
I know. This would be... See, this is a moment where you wish we were streaming.
8 feet from the freaking plate?
And a jump throw...
Yeah, I mean, almost 180 degrees.
All that bullshit about Schwarber being the last Jedi, and you guys look at this, and you can't even say the same thing.
Jesus Christ, that was
come
awesome.
on, you know that
was
the last
great
Jedi
play.
was trolling you.
Oh, of course.
That was a great play.
That was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I might go get the cream.
Regardless of the play, like you saw a great play, Elliott. They got swept in that series. And it's look he didn't even. They scored 6 runs over 3 games. Okay. Right. And all I read is about pitching. Oh my God, this guy gave up this. This guy blew a lead. This guy, like, we should get rid of this relief pitcher. I'm like, fuck people. 6 runs over 2 games or over 3 games equals 2 runs per game. I don't want to read a goddamn word about the pitching. None. Like, the offense. Am I a broken record over like 4 years?
Keep playing the Cubs.
That's right.
The offense. Holy shit.
Then you get your 5 to 6 runs per game.
But not even. I got to tell you guys.
Give your pitching a chance. Do not beat up on your pitching when your offense doesn't muster anything. Now, realize all the fans out there on Twitter are excited over Tyler O'Neill and his muscles being back up at the major leagues. God damn. I wrote this guy off a couple years ago, and I thought, after last year, maybe I'm wrong. He started off the first series this year. I'm like, shit, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they placed their bets right. I'm right back where I was 3 years ago, guys. Fuck this. 4A player is going to find himself in Japan really soon. He is not a major leaguer. Don't care what he did in this series. I know he hit a couple home runs. It got everybody like ejaculated and excited, but ain't it?
Hey, come on. Go easy on Kyle Reese.
It's not even. No, it's not Kyle.
Kyle has a thing for Tyler O'Neill.
Oh, maybe. I don't.
No, I know you don't.
I haven't for like years. But that's just my opinion as a baseball fan. I respect his a little bit. Everybody else's, but I'm not there with Tyler O'Neill, guys. I'm not on the train at all. Or Bader still. Bader brings value.
What is Brandon Donovan doing trying to look like masturbator? I mean, I swear to God, I was watching the game on that Thursday night, and I couldn't tell the difference between the two of them.
Nah, great. I'm glad you brought that up because I put out that poll, Pete, that which Cubs or Cardinals rookie annoyed the other fan base more during that 5-game set.
And obviously it was Christopher Morel.
No, it was overwhelmingly Brandon Donovan.
Yeah, but he's annoying your fan base. That's not good.
No, any fan base.
I know
both, but like, yes, Morel. Here's the thing. My opinion on that Cubs player, and I didn't know much about him before the series because I've been half-assed paying attention to most things. I love the passion he plays with, like the genuine, like joy, and I will never knock any player for that. Even if it annoys me when they're playing against me, I will never knock a player for genuine joy and happiness.
It's like he gave a hug or he shook hands or gave a fist bump to every new player that he saw when he was on the bases.
Right.
And contrast him with Sammy Sosa, right? Like Sammy's joy, was a put on.
Sammy Sosa reminded me of the Donald Trump presidency. All about me, celebrate me. Like, yes, I'm acting like I'm joyful for my team, but I'm not. He's not. Like he's
joyful for my big paycheck.
All about him.
So you would say he was out there with the paper towel rolls, just flinging them at people in the head.
Whatever, but this Morel guy, like, no, he's playing with passion. He's happy. He's smiling. He's happy to be up in the big leagues, right? So, no, I have no problem with a guy like that. And does he annoy me a little bit when he succeeds against my team? Sure. Does Brandon Donovan, who nobody knows, and he's got long locks or whatever, and his helmet falls off every time he rounds second base.
And he's wearing the same do-rag as Harrison Bader. I mean, seriously.
But here's the thing, like, there's always somebody like that comes up consistently throughout our team's history.
That's the most annoying part, is that there's always somebody for the freaking Cardinals that comes up and does this shit. It sucks.
But
his name was Albert Pujols, and then it was Yadier Molina.
Well, but I wouldn't put Brendan in this class just yet, but I would say
he's working on it.
But he okay, fine. He's working on it, but
Matt Carpenter.
But he's a player. He's willing. He's played in like 7, 8, 9 positions this year. Like he's played everywhere. He's willing to do whatever. And so we always like to see a player like that who's doesn't feel entitled. Like, shit, I came up in this organization, a third baseman or a second baseman. Like, he's willing to do whatever. And so it's always like good to see that. And there was no plan for Brandon Donovan to be a major offensive contributor this year, but here he is, and he's doing well. And this is what you get sometimes.
And from that standpoint, I will say there is a similarity between him and Christopher Morel in that you don't know how long this is going to last, so you just enjoy it. And you celebrate the fact that, hey, this guy's literally living his best life in baseball right now.
This is kind of like the Frank Schwindel of the end of last year.
Well, maybe, but it's also important that you have guys like that to keep you protected.
That's right, because otherwise there's no protection for.
And there is no. And we all know how important it is to stay protected.
Hugely
Sometimes
important.
life throws you a big Adam Wainwright curve in Game 7 of the NLCS in 2006.
And you just swing right through it.
You stare at it. You're locked up. And that's why the Wiley Group has 2 locations in Festus and Arnold to serve you, to help you avoid staring at that curveball. Yeah, I changed it up a little bit. They offer home, auto, boat, motorcycle, business, life insurance, investments, and so much more. They can offer a customized approach that is unique to your situation to make sure you, your assets, and family are properly protected. They offer great rates and savings. Give Sean and his team a call today at 636-764-6294. They'll give you a quote right over the phone. Give them a call. They talk sports, I think. Not much of Gateway City does these days, but I think they do. Give them a call and today and talk about your coverage options. You can email
Ask them what they think about the Team of Rivals podcast.
Sean Wiley at allstate.com. Talk to him about your options. And remember, you're in good hands. Great hands. Actually, soft hands. Fingertips will fondle a little bit. You're in good hands with Allstate.
You just lost the payment for that ad.
Right? I don't really give a shit.
All right, can we talk about that series?
Which one?
The one that just happened, the 5-game.
Oh, yeah. I've been dying to talk about it for like days.
Yeah, you have.
Not really.
Elliott, I'm going to let you go first because I'm very conflicted.
I agree. Besides the blowout,
which I was at, of
course. First of all, I think it's a lie that you were conflicted.
That he's conflicted or that?
Both of
I'll get into it. Hey, Elliott has the floor, Ron.
Yeah.
Please. Fine, sorry.
All respect his authority.
Yeah. Nobody talks to me that way. No.
It's so hard to hear you say that.
Yeah.
With that stat.
Again, besides the blowout, it was a competitive weekend, but it sucked for us because we ended on the losing side most of the time. Again, it's the bullpen, and it's you got 5 games in 4 days, and you run through.
I think it was, and not to make excuses, but I think it was 11 games in 9 days.
11 games, right? 9 days. Yeah. It's a lot. I mean, the pitching staff was depleted. Okay. Anybody that you threw in there was within 2 days had thrown probably at least 30 pitches in your bullpen. So you probably had some tired arms in there. Not to say that during the weekend stretch that the Cardinals didn't, but I felt like they were probably in a little bit better place. Their offense is a little more potent than ours, but it doesn't excuse what happened over the weekend. It's just the Cardinals are a better team, period. And that's why the Cubs lost. Would I have loved to taken 3? Sure. Were they close? Yeah. But it's just this is what this team is right now. They are a middle of the pack in the Central Division team.
They're worse than the Pirates.
Yes, right now.
I would no.
But I don't think they are a worse team than the Pirates overall.
Just wait until the end of July.
Oh well,
no.
Well, when you see Ian Happ go, and when you
save that. We're not there yet.
Okay. When you see pieces traded away by the deadline, then yes, we will probably be worse than the Pirates.
Well, and that's the thing in a high pressure series, and
unless the Pirates for some dumbass reason,
the Cubs Cardinals series was a rivalry series, so you had plenty of red hats in the stands, and Cardinals fans making noise. What happens to a player like Ian Happ or Morel when that's not there? Like when you're playing the Brewers or the Pirates or Cincinnati, when that kind of intensity is not in the crowd. You could feel it at Wrigley with a rival playing there. So what happens when that stuff is not there?
I don't think that's going to affect Morel because this is new to him.
You think his gear is just there like no matter what?
Yeah, Morel is he was called up from Double-A. The kid's having a great time. He doesn't care whether they're winning or losing. He just wants to help. He's one of these, I just want to help out the team guys.
Well, first of all, guys, I'm with you. I like the kid. I really do. I genuinely do. But Pete, you've witnessed me and Cardinal fandom now that you've been exposed to this shit for 5 years of falling in love with a rookie. I'm telling you right now, guys, it's a slippery slope.
No, I don't. I will say I am, and I think I get the sense that Elliott is here too. I do not expect Christopher Morel to be the one who's going to lead this team to the promised
Absolutely
land.
not.
But I'm going to enjoy the ride while he's the same as I'm going to enjoy Frank Schwindel and Patrick Wisdom enjoying success at the major league level for as long as it lasts.
Well, you said Frank Schwindel, and why does his face look like he should belong on a 1940s baseball tobacco card?
Because he should be on a 1940s baseball tobacco card. He's a throwback.
Like his face looks
old.
So much older than it is.
Yep, it does.
Okay.
Elliott, I'm 100% with you. I think this.
Would we trade our looks now? I'm sorry. I'm ambushing this one. Would any of us trade our looks now for the baseball ability of Frank Schwindel?
Yeah.
Do you know
I
how
have
much
no baseball ability.
Plays?
Are you kidding?
No, I would too.
I take 1 year of $1 million contract. Sure. Absolutely.
And you would outkick your coverage.
I've already outkicked my coverage numerous times. Problem is that the runner goes to the other end because I have no coverage.
Been the best. That's been the best thing that's been said on here for like 6 months.
See, we're just getting back into the groove, you know? We just needed to just keep grinding
we've done
it out
for a couple weeks in a row now.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah, I tell you, Elliott, I'm with you. This past weekend series really threw into very solid relief just how far away the Cubs are all over the diamond. There's nobody on the Cubs who compares with their counterpart on the Cardinals. And that's why I'm conflicted. That was the kick in the teeth this weekend because they were in every game, and yet you had that sinking feeling that they're not going to pull this off.
And you kind of had that feeling like right, Elliott, like they had the adrenaline to keep up, but there wasn't that know it, have done it kind of.
And I understand the relationship that probably David Ross has with Jason Hayward, but
it's time for him to
at some point he's gotta rip that Band-Aid off.
Well, God, Anaheim
and become the coach
last year, right?
and say, Jason, listen, I've got guys who can take at bats and not roll it over to second base every fucking time.
Especially with Seiya Suzuki now coming off the IL any day now. You're not going to start Hayward over Suzuki and Wright. So then are you really going to take away at bats from Ortega? And
I would rather see Clint Frazier out there taking his at bats.
Well, and that's the thing. Then Clint Frazier can take at bats and left, and you move Happ into center.
But guys, doesn't that puzzle you a little bit? Like teams like Anaheim released Albert last year in May.
Right.
Like they said, you know what? Last year of a 10-year deal, like not working out. We can't have anybody blocking progress or at least experimentation on any young players that are up and coming. They did that. And you've seen that from time to time. Like we all know, like these owners and their pride and everything don't want to admit to a mistake, but at least we saw somebody like Anaheim do it last year with Albert. I'm actually a little bit surprised, guys, that the Cubs haven't cut bait with Jason Hayward.
Or at least use him as a defensive replacement when you're winning at the end of a game.
But he's not. I don't know that you can even do that because his defense has slipped.
It's still one of the better It's still one of our better defensive players in the outfield, though.
Sure, Elliott, and minus the numbers, guys.
He's a liability in center. And honestly,
well, no, I'm not talking about center.
He's not a better option in right field than Seiya Suzuki.
No, he's
not. So then,
but I think Pete, like what the argument is that, you know, if there was a team that was in the thick of it, like say the Dodgers or, you know, well ahead, and they just want that defensive,
and
they could absorb
they want a useless bat that is not going to improve their outfield defense at all.
Like
they've got $17 million to blow this year and next.
Sure, and that's what just baffles me about this guy. Like all the physical, like LeBron James size guy, like.
Well,
stop
I tell you what,
tucking that little bat into your shoulder, and I don't know.
I really my seats for Friday's game were in the upper deck, first base side, right, and so I had a perfect view of the left-handed hitters batting. I have never seen a guy so big and so athletic.
Tuck a little bat.
So small and so tight when everything is just all bunch of like he does not look relaxed in the batter's box. Everything is like he looks like this.
Well, if you look at his at bats in his first couple of seasons, he is open. Like his stance is open, his arms are open. His elbow is up.
He's athletic.
And guys, I was at that first game against the Cubs back in 2011 when he hit the 2 home runs. He was like 3 for 4 with 2 home runs and a double, and they won 13-3 in opening day against the Cubs in Atlanta. I was like, oh my God, this guy's a monster.
But couldn't
sustain it.
Yeah, it sucks. This is the end of the road for him. I mean, I don't know who.
I like him as a player and a teammate, like and what he brings to the table, like for mentorship. But that can only get you so far.
You're right, Elliott, and it's all unpleasant. Which is, guys,
it's kind of like buying a new car.
It is. It really is, and we all know buying a new vehicle can be stressful. It does not have to be. That's why Fifth Street Motors, located in Pacific, Missouri, can help you find the vehicle you need no matter what. Fifth Street Motors believes in giving you the best price on a pre-owned vehicle no matter your budget. Give Brandon or Don a call today at 573-259-1306 and tell them Team Rivals Podcast sent you. Fuck the rest of you guys.
That's right. GCS, you guys need to put out some content before Ron changes that copy back. All right, last thing that I want to talk about.
We love the Derek King Sports Show, though.
Yes, always. Especially if he comes back on, Derek.
That's right.
Last
Derek.
topic for us, at least baseball-related topic tonight.
All right.
It had never crossed my mind until just in the past week. Ian Happ could get traded.
Yeah.
Why is he not?
Every time that I've thought about who could go, you're thinking Robertson, Contreras, Hendricks, some of the other guys who are towards the end of their contracts and who have proven that they could be valuable as a bench bat. For whatever reason, it never crossed my mind that Ian Happ might actually be dangled. And I got to tell you guys, I couldn't be happier. I hope he keeps hitting the cover off the ball.
But the thing is,
I hope he tears it up and has the best season of his life. And the Cubs get a king's ransom for him, because I cannot fucking stand that guy. I am so done with him. Ron, I don't know who your equivalent is. There is not a Cub that I have hated this much since Sammy Sosa. I just can't take it. He is so full of himself.
He is a runaway train. I can't even get a word in. He asked me a question.
Oh my God. I can't take it. He's got far more important things to do than actually being a good baseball player and being a good teammate. The no smiling thing was interesting and it was intriguing when he first came up. I've come to the conclusion the reason he doesn't smile on the baseball field is because he's a dick.
Well, Pete, you've heard me.
And he has nothing to smile about because he's a dick. Have you listened to the podcast?
No.
That podcast runs on Dakota Mekas. Dakota Mekas is the star of that podcast. Ian Happ is just a sour ass prick who hates people. And
holy shit!
Go ahead and share this to him. I'd love to have him come on.
So
he's
the equivalent of Ron on this podcast,
pretty much.
Fair enough. I'm not surprised to hear your disdain. Not at all. But this guy reminds me so much of Jake Arrieta. We're just enjoyed nothing.
No, Jake Arrieta actually performed. It may have been a short window, but Jake Arrieta delivered.
That is
Ian
the delta.
Happ has not delivered except in short spurts.
Yes, Pete.
Kind of like
that is the delta between the two. One has performed, one hasn't. And I couldn't agree with you more. I hate that motherfucker because it's always when he plays the Cardinals. If they played the Cardinals 162 games a year, you would not be singing this tune because some reason. He's angry, pissed, and he's always up when they're down by a run. It's always Ian fucking Happ. I hate him as much as you do. I want to see him gone. I really do. And you asked me what's my equivalent. I hate to say this, man, because I know it'll inflame a bunch of muscle-bound jerk-offs that just love him. Take Tyler O'Neill with him. Package deal.
Ooh. Maybe we could trade them for each other.
I know everybody loves
Tyler O'Neill.
Well, he's from Canada. He's muscle-bound.
So
I really don't fucking care.
Oh, you don't say.
He's got a ticket to Japan. Let's go. Can't wait. Oryx Blue Wave, please make this guy an all-star.
Elliott, your feelings on Ian Happ, please.
I'm just glad he's playing well. I mean, yes, get a good trade for him. Bring in some young pieces. I want to see that stock going back up.
I think you're going to get...
I'm sorry.
I do not follow him.
Elliott, I apologize. I don't know why I threw this to you.
Pretty much Ian Happ has the job.
I was waiting for this. I was waiting for this. I'm like, I know it's coming.
At leadoff this year. He's probably going to lead the game off at least 15 times this year with a home run, and that's just at leadoff.
It is out of the realm of possibility. He is not going to hit 15 leadoff home runs. Elliott, this one's going to come back, and it's going to be fun.
Give me that energy.
Elliott, I was saying my rebuttal to that at the time was out of fear. Like, I did not want that to ever happen because the guy just looked like a dick, and I didn't want it to occur. Guys, we're close to an hour here. We're close to an hour here. We got to cover some territory, I think.
We do. So, baseball nerds, we're going to nerd out on pop culture. Thank you for joining us.
We're going to go back to tattooing.
That's right. Thank you for joining us this week. We'll see you next week. All right, guys, I made a mistake.
Have you not watched it?
What's that?
I went back and I watched the first 3 episodes.
Did you watch the 4th?
Yes, I watched the 4th, but I went back and I watched the first 3 episodes again.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's kind of how I feel right now.
Yeah.
Ron, when we talked last week, I think I was so excited by having Star Wars content about an OT character. Guys, this is not good writing.
No, the episode 4, the latest especially.
I'm just gonna give you. Okay, so we talked about it 2 weeks ago, right?
Right.
And I was worried that and Ron, you assured me, no, they're going to take care of it. That this was going to be a problem.
There are some things far more frightening than death.
You're like, no. They're going to take care of that. Don't worry. They got time. They're going to fix it. They have 2 episodes left. They're not going to fix it. They've rewritten canon. Oh, but that's okay because it's not like they've screwed up anything from the original movie.
Circle is now complete. I left you. I was but the learner. Now I am the master.
Yes.
No, the last time that we met each other, you were a pussy who ran away. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to save you twice, and then 9 years later, you're going to pretend like you don't know me.
Yeah. I'm not quite at the point yet where I say they botched this, but episode 4, fully bearded Imperial hat with a trench coat hiding a girl. I mean, just
that was awful. That was
all kinds of shit wrong with this one. This was not good. And Vader giving mercy to the Inquisitor at the end because they put a tracker. I don't know, guys.
Here's my really big problem with this, right?
Yeah.
It's called and look, this is a Disney thing. They've done it a lot with Marvel, and they're doing it with Star Wars now. We're going to call it one thing, but it's not actually going to be. We're going to call it Kenobi, but he's going to share screen time. Look, if you want to create a compelling bad guy character, that's great, but they don't need to split time. Darth Vader had, what was it? I think like 4 minutes of screen time in the original Star Wars. And yet he's one of the most enduring antagonists.
How much screen time did Boba Fett have?
Well,
exactly.
That's the whole thing we have with that series too, right? Like we don't
So
need...
if you had called this series Inquisitor, Star Wars Inquisitor, and made it about the Inquisitorius and made Reva the main character, and then you drop in that we get to see Vader and Kenobi, oh shit.
Or
this is a much better series, but you've set it up as being about Kenobi and it's not.
Well, and I follow the logic of, Leia being in peril would be the only thing that could pull him off Tatooine.
Except that now he's left Luke completely unprotected.
I know.
It makes me want to read an
here.
all-state ad.
But follow me here. You're right. But like the one thing that could get him off of his ass and off of Tatooine would have been Leia, right? The twin, maybe, right? Like you could form an argument for that. Like that might make sense. But
here was my biggest gripe: the Inquisitor Reva trying to read Leia's mind, not being able to get through and saying,
not noticing,
you're
shit,
just a
this
brave
person
girl,
has force ability.
Not some kid who's force sensitive.
Right. Totally with you on that one. Huge miss, just like it was like they acknowledged it in The Force Awakens, but not here. So it's kind of like
now the one thing that does make sense now is, okay, this would kind of lean towards probably why Leia named her son Ben, but
sure, but it's still it's
but it also doesn't make sense that when she sends the message in A New Hope,
it's all about Obi-Wan.
Like, you don't remember me, but you served my father in the Clone Wars. It's like, well, no. How do you
saved my ass 9 years ago?
Yes, you saved me one time.
Twice.
Rubbing your hand.
Yes.
I clearly remember that, but kind of not now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know there are a lot of holes to shoot in this stuff, guys, and
it's lazy writing. It's just, that's all it is. It's not a good story. It's just lazy.
When it was
writing.
most obvious to me, it was like
you
sneaking
can
a
tell
girl out under your trench coat with a full beard with an Imperial
else.
hat on, and no stormtroopers or anybody noticed. That's, to me, that's rushing. That's, what are we going to do? How are we going to make this happen? Let's not think about it through. Let's not think it through.
I mean, this supposedly impregnable base. Somebody has escaped. The klaxons are going off.
Nobody would ever
the TIE fighters.
Nobody would ever attack this base.
Don't scramble the TIE fighters. No shields, so that two air speeders can just fly in.
And on a water planet, snow speeders show up and hover.
Now hang on a second. That one you can understand that, because I forget what the model is, but remember, in Empire they say we haven't modified the speeders for the cold.
Fine.
Apparently these are highly configurable, so this one's fine. I'm fine with it.
So you can talk yourself through that one. Okay.
I can talk myself into that one, but the Empire is completely unprepared for anybody to potentially try to invade this secret base. They don't scramble TIE fighters when somebody's trying to escape. They don't raise the shields.
No,
they don't notice.
They didn't have radar knowing that those two speeders were coming in.
I know. Right. I'm with you. This episode sucked. My son even said, nobody noticed the girl under his coat. Like, Sam, just go with it. And like, he thought it sucked too.
And this is the thing. And I'm really glad that my son is on vacation with his mom right now, because I'm prepared for this moment when he's there, and I don't know how I'm going to handle it, but it really bothered me that they intimated the torture of a child.
Oh yeah.
That really, really bothered me. Like, you went so far as to show her on the verge of being tortured. They didn't even do that when she was 19 years old in A New Hope.
Nope.
You saw the interrogation droid float into the cell, and then the cell door closed. No, it's 2023, so we're going to show you a 9-year-old child being tortured. That's crossing the line, man. This is supposed to be for kids. That's going to give kids nightmares.
It is. It's for Disney.
I think,
and people are worried about Deadpool getting an R rating.
We should have.
There is a definite delineation between Star Wars and Disney Star Wars.
Yes.
And this is Disney Star Wars, and Rogue One is the exception that actually proves the rule. I
feel like this one didn't get the attention from Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau.
Well,
I felt
like
I felt like they kind of let them hey, this is going to be hard to screw up. We'll let you guys do this so Dave can focus on Ahsoka.
And obviously this story group notion is complete shit. Like, if they don't somehow replace this Grand Inquisitor with the one we've seen, to your point earlier, Pete, like, this is just what are we watching? What are we investing our time in if you wipe everything out? Like,
yep.
So anyway, all right,
because they've been so good about keeping canon with the Clone Wars.
And here's what I wonder, Elliott, because I think if I remember correctly, on one of the credits, Pablo Hidalgo is listed as a story consultant or something like that. So he's credited up, right? And Michelle Rejwan and Kathleen Kennedy are listed as executive producers on this, right? So they're on the top. I think you're right. I think that this is an older product. Remember, this has been rumored for years that Ewan McGregor was coming back to play Obi-Wan. And what I wonder is if this wasn't a film script. And so,
we heard that we know that there was a ton of reshoots.
Right. So was this a film script that they dragged it out into 6 episodes because they thought, well, doesn't make a good film and we're not really in the business of making Star Wars movies anymore anyway. So let's pad it a little bit and we can get 6 episodes out of it. And instead of making it better, it's only made it worse.
I just felt like they could have done it a little bit better.
I was thoroughly disappointed with this last episode. Totally.
But this next one has got to do something.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't count on it.
Right. With that said, we'll end our somber show.
If you enjoyed this episode, I don't know why, but don't forget to comment and subscribe. And if you want to help spread the word, please give us a 5-star review and tell your friends to do the same. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts, as well as Rumble, Facebook, and YouTube. Be sure to check out the other Gateway City Sports Network podcasts, including the Derek King Sports Show and Talking Sports in the Bleachers with Don Glenn. You know, I seem to recall that there used to be some other shows, but I don't know.
Nope.
I must be getting old. My memory fails me.
Nope.
Yep. You can find Elliott on Twitter at
TOR_Elliott.
And you can find Ron at
TOR_Ron75.
I know I threw you guys off. I rewrote the close. Sorry. Get in touch with us at the show at teamarivalspodcast.com, or you can contact us on any social media channel at Team Arrivals Pod. Gentlemen, this is like 6 weeks in a row, man. We gotta stop, or else this is gonna become a thing again.
What?
I don't like things.
I heard.
All right, everyone. Thank you for downloading us, I guess. We'll be back same time, same place next week.
Maybe if everybody's lucky, I'll do a call in to Ron and he can record me drunk at the Sox game this weekend.
Ooh. I didn't know that. Thank you for that detail.
I could give you a on-scene report at the Sox game. Somebody running out on the field to beat up an umpire.
Same time, same place next week with a clip of Elliott drunk at the Sox game. Bye-bye, everyone. We love you so much. Bye-bye.